everybody, to We Geek Podcast. Today is Wednesday, February 15th. This is episode 91. And my name is Logan, joined by my good friend Adam.
What up, man?
How's it going, boss? How was your week?
It's going. Back to work now full time, so it's, I had a few weeks there off because of my voice and whatnot. Man, just getting used to everything again and still not being able to talk as well, but it's getting better.
Yeah, I know the feeling. It's been flu season up here. Like, everybody's had a touch of something the last, week or two, it seems like. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Same here, same with my family. Seems to be going around.
Yeah. Well, then this is going to be a fun one between the pair of us.
Yeah, exactly. And on top of that, I decided I wanted to hurt myself and pick up Neo.
Oh?
Yeah, I guess I'll talk about that a little bit later, but man, it is just rough. It's probably one of the hardest games I've ever played.
Wow.
Yeah. It took me hours just to get to the first boss. It is insane, yeah. I've never really played like a Ninja Gaiden game, but apparently it's a lot like that. I found it a lot like Bloodborne.
Yeah, I could definitely see the similarities.
Yeah, where it's like it's got shrines and you get killed, you go all the way back to that shrine, and it's very much like Bloodborne and what the Souls games I guess are like. But man, it is rough.
Yeah, it sounds kind of like the original Ninja Gaiden, because those games were notorious for just being controller breaking ridiculous.
Oh yeah. Feels good though. The gameplay is solid. Mechanics are solid. Anytime I die, I know why I died. It's like you really have to like train yourself to not rush in and figure out how you're going to take on each enemy.
Right, and you don't feel like you were cheated. You're like, oh, that was garbage. Like,
right, exactly.
excellent. Yeah. Well, now you're talking.
Yeah, I doubt I'll ever finish it, but I'll see how far I can get before I hit a wall.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all right. Well, let's I'll throw up a quick apology about last week's episode, because I know you had your power go out.
Jeez,
We were we got halfway through and it was like, oh yeah, the storms, it took out the power, and we're like, oh shit, what do we do?
Yeah.
I very hastily tacked on that piece of the Force Awakens edit, and I know the quality was a huge switch, and I'm sorry for everybody that threw off, but at the last second it was like, okay, we got to do this thing real fast.
Oh yeah.
But
that was not fun.
Yeah. But we got one out, so that's a plus.
Yeah.
This is why we need to do some more little bonus episodes, so we can, just in case.
It's true.
But
yeah, it'd be cool if we after the big wrestling events, if we do the 4 big ones a year, we can do a mini episode after those. I was thinking.
Yeah, that would be all right.
Yeah, because it seems like there's usually enough material after SummerSlam or Mania. I imagine, especially after Mania, there will be.
Oh yeah. I think we'll definitely have to do it, and I've got some ideas rattling about that. I'll talk to you when we're on break. I got some thoughts.
Oh, sounds good.
So that's never a good sign. But
yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. Guess what? We'll just jump into it this week.
Yeah.
Did you see the Avengers Infinity War little production teaser they put up?
How cool was that?
It's awesome. I loved, it opened and it's there's Tom Holland, there's Robert Downey Jr., and there's Chris Pratt. And I was like, oh shit.
Right.
Oh yeah. Exactly the 3 people you want to see at the beginning of something like this.
Yep. Oh yeah. It reminded me of Star Wars did one of those little things for The Force Awakens.
Oh yeah, they did the first day of filming thing. I remember when they did that.
Yeah, that was really cool. I really love stuff like that. Wish more movies did it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, someone's got to be documenting the whole process for this, because how many years in the making it's been,
Right, we've been building to it since I
think.
Yeah.
Is that when the first Iron Man came out?
Yeah. think so.
Okay.
But
Yeah, it's been a while.
yeah. But I mean,
2008.
yep. Craziness, man. Almost 10 years.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a slow burn, really.
Yeah.
And hats off to everybody in that whole writing pantheon that they've had, for not just for the behind the scenes stuff like stitching the story together, but to make sure each movie fit in that mythology while still being its own stuff. Like that's a hell of a high wire act to walk.
Yeah,
So
that's an undertaking for sure.
my hat's off to them big time.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. I can't wait. When does that come out?
That's that's next year, right?
It's got to be.
Yeah. So it'll have been 10 years then.
Yeah, 2018. That's crazy.
Yeah, because we've got Spider-Man and Thor this year.
Right.
And something else, don't we have?
Logan.
That's right. That's in
Yeah.
what, like a week, isn't it?
Yeah, that comes out pretty soon.
Damn. It's in the yeah, I think it's just in like 1 or 2 weeks.
You know.
That's madness. I am coming soon to a theater near you.
Should be good.
Yeah, right. I hope so. Like just
That
by
might
the trailer quality we've seen, like all right, this is gonna be bleak and awesome at the same time.
Right. Yeah. Let's hope it
Be,
doesn't go the way of of the Superman. You remember how I loved that Superman trailer?
yeah.
And then I went to the movie and I was like, oh no, Man of Steel, what happened? Hope it's not like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we all did because it was basically just like him with the cape, and like
Right.
that was kind of it, and it was like, wow, that looks really cool.
Right.
And then we saw the rest of the movie, and you were like, oh shit.
Yep.
Like that was a movie. But yeah, still definitely one of my favorite trailers ever. It was fantastic. DC makes good trailers. The Suicide Squad trailer was awesome too.
That's true. That's actually really true.
Yeah. And the little Batman vs Superman Comic-Con teaser was great.
Yeah.
Where it was just him at the light in the armor with Superman in the sky. Like, that was awesome. And then you saw the rest of the 8-hour movie that went around it.
Yep, they make great trailers. Just can't stick the landing.
No, not at all. But, here's hoping that, well, there's no hope for Justice League. There's probably no hope for the Flash.
Yeah, it looks bad.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe the Batman will be alright. Did you see they got a new director?
No, who is it?
Matt Reeves. Guy who did
okay.
Cloverfield and War for the Planet of the Apes.
Okay, I liked both of those movies.
Yeah, did you see that the reports are saying that now that they've got a new director, they're going to start it from the ground up?
Wow,
Yeah.
I don't know what to think about that. I mean, you kind of have to, right?
Not necessarily. Just because you bring on a new director doesn't mean you have to change everything from scratch.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Oh, yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the same thing they're doing with the Flash. It's getting a page one rewrite.
Wow.
So
You think they just didn't like what Ben was doing? Didn't Ben write it as well?
I think so.
Oh, he did.
I think he might. Wow. I don't know. I want to say that I think he at least co-wrote it.
Okay.
That he has at least some form of screenplay credit.
I know it was Jeff Johns, right?
Right. And if they decided, hey, you know what, we didn't like what Jeff Johns wrote, then this film is fucked.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't know what to think now. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's not a world I want to live in. Hey, we've got this comic book movie written by one of the best comic book writers of our generation. We don't want to do that one. We want to do something different. Okay, well then you're idiots.
Right. Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
That doesn't look good at all.
No, not happy news there.
I know people were hoping for George Miller, right?
Yeah, because that would have been cool.
Yeah, that would have been great.
It would have been interesting for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Mad Max Batman.
Yeah.
That's that would have been something. That would have been something to see.
Yeah.
Would have been like a version of his, Injustice vision that would have actually made some sense.
Right. You could do a whole movie based off that.
Right. It's the most bizarre shoehorn thing in. Like, I have so many problems with Batman vs Superman.
Right.
But God, the editing. Some where it's like, we're gonna stick this sequence here. Why? This makes no sense. Here's Bruce Wayne sitting at the Bat computer. Here's Bruce Wayne at a gala the second time he meets Wonder Woman. And here we cut to something completely different. Like, so out of that, it screws up the timeline of that movie so bad.
Yeah.
It's just awful from top to bottom. And I'm sure, when these movies are first written, when they get that first script in, and even when they get the production drafts, I'm sure people are looking at these and going, you know what? These actually look like a pretty solid movie. I don't think any of these things go into production being awful right off the bat.
Right.
And then through the process of making a movie, then you wind up with what you got. And I've got to imagine there are some people who've been working on these films just absolutely tearing their hair out. Because I'm sure they've seen, like, here's what this could have been, here's what this wants to have been, and here's what we came up with? Like, it's got to be driving some of them crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's... yeah.
Yeah. So, that's my mini Batman v Superman tirade. Just when I think I'm tapped on that movie, I find new reserves of things to hate about.
Yeah, they keep giving us new reasons to be like, okay, what the hell? What's going on? Yeah.
Oh, well. So, did you see Sophie Turner has confirmed that she's returning as Jean Grey for the next X-Men film?
Yeah, I thought that was obvious, though, but I guess...
Yeah, so did I, kind of, but...
Now it's official.
Right. It's like, oh yeah, before we do the last season of Game of Thrones, I'm going to do this X-Men movie. Which is a bad idea. Because if you give me a choice, which are you going to work on, production of the last season of Game of Thrones or the next X-Men movie? I'm going to pick the one that more people actually like.
Right.
But, oh well. It works out with the schedule and everything, so, hey.
Yeah.
It's work. I'm not going to knock it.
Right. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. I know you didn't like the last one as much.
Not really. Like, I didn't... I know I'm in the minority of people that didn't like First Class, but I genuinely didn't like that movie. But the subsequent ones, I was kind of like, whatever. Like, I didn't really dislike Days of Future Past or Apocalypse. They just, I don't know. I was just like, just not...
I really like Days of Futures Past.
Yeah, I wanted to, and they had some really, really interesting ideas and some really awesome elements. I don't know. I think the whole thing, like, Fox X-Men just has this kind of stink about it for me, I guess. Where, like, every time I watch one of those, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm watching a movie on FX. Like, I can't get away from that.
That's true.
I don't know. But did you see we've got a piece of Star Wars news and a piece of Star Wars don't tease us with this. This would be awesome if you would do this kind of news.
Yeah.
They're talking about Thandie Newton from Westworld joining the Han Solo movie, probably to play his wife.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, which would be awesome. Because she was all kinds of badass on Westworld.
Oh, yeah.
And the interesting thing that I like, the little second piece of news, was that Rosario Dawson got on Twitter and was like, hey, if you guys ever decided to do a live-action Ahsoka film, I'd be down for that.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That would be fantastic. I would totally be all in
perfect.
Yeah, especially with the way she's handled herself on the Marvel Netflix series.
Oh, yeah.
I'm totally down for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Where would they cover, what ground would they cover with Ahsoka in a live action film?
I don't know. How old would she be with?
Oh.
Rosario Dawson.
Rosario's what, in her 40s, I think?
Yeah, so if she was a kid during the Clone Wars, I mean, what time span are we talking here?
I mean, we'd have to be...
In
It would have to be, like, during the original trilogy at some point, wouldn't it?
That's what I'm thinking. It's definitely after Rebels.
Yeah,
It
because...
would, yeah, I guess it'd be during the original time. That could be such a cool film.
Yeah, it'd be alright.
Yeah.
Like, her own little part in the rebellion.
Yeah. Yeah. I could totally see that.
Or what happened after. She could do a post-trilogy
She could.
film. Like, that would... I don't know, that one might be...
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know, like, her species, how long they live. They could do something.
Yeah.
Yeah. That could be a really cool film.
Yeah. Be alright with that.
Oh, yeah.
And, did you see that HBO is doing a documentary based on Andre the Giant?
Yes. I
That's...
saw that tweet.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool. I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Because they did a graphic novel little biography thing about him, what, a few years ago, didn't they?
I don't remember, but
Yeah, I think it was...
sounds cool.
Yeah, it was like 2 or 3 years ago. It was like a biography, but it was a graphic novel. I never picked it up, but I remember seeing it. I was like, oh, that looks kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, that kind of works for somebody like Andre. It's kind of larger than life. You almost have to have... He's a bit of a comic book character.
Yeah.
In a sense. So I don't know, I guess that would fit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Did you see Kevin Smith is doing a Jay and Silent Bob reboot?
Yes.
I love this, and his big explanation, because he doesn't own the right, he can't like take Clerks or Mallrats and just do whatever he wants with them, because he doesn't own the rights to them, but he does still own Jay and Silent Bob.
Right.
So he was like, fuck it, nobody wants the Mallrats series so far, but we're still working on that. Nobody wants Clerks 3, but I can still do Jay and Silent Bob, so fuck it.
Yeah, there we go.
And he's doing, did you see the premise for this?
No.
He's doing Jay and Silent Bob, it's called Jay and Silent Bob Reboot so far, and he's doing the whole thing based on they have to come out and get mad because they're rebooting Blunt Man and Chronic.
That's kind of perfect.
Which I thought was excellent.
Yeah.
But,
oh, yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to take our first break here. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and we'll see you all in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast here on the N.FM. We were still trying to get through some movie news here. Did you see the newest stuff about the Halloween reboot, remake, whatever it is they're doing with this?
No, what's going on?
Okay, so they've got a pair to write and direct. They got David Gordon Green from Eastbound and Down, and one of his longtime collaborators, Danny McBride.
Oh.
And
oh man,
I don't know how I feel about this. John Carpenter is apparently psyched. He actually, like, he heard their pitch and thought it was great. He's talking about coming back to do the score for this, actually.
That might be fun, a little bit of humor in a scary movie isn't that bad.
No, this is true.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it could be interesting. They've got it penciled in for October 19th of next year.
Okay.
So gives them plenty of time to work on it.
Yeah. Yeah. That could be fun.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Because, I mean, the way that Paramount scrapped the next Friday the 13th movie, like, what, a month before it was going to start production or something? Like, they were just like, nope, you know what? Closed. Forget it. Not going to do this.
Yeah.
Nobody went and saw Rings, so horror movies are dead.
This doesn't make any sense.
Right? Like, I still don't understand that. Like, the whole thing was like, you made Rings, which was a prequel set with technology that post-dates the original. So, and also, let's not forget, the first two Ring movies did not do tremendously well here in the States.
Right.
You know, there's not the following for them that there was for The Grudge, which also didn't do tremendously well in the States, but it found the following on home video.
Right.
Like, that was where people were like, oh yeah, you gotta see this. It was a little kind of, it got its own little cult following. That didn't really happen with The Ring. And much less so with the sequel. And then, 85 years later, they decide, hey, we're going to do another one. And people are like, oh, that thing that scared me when I was in, like, middle school?
Right. I don't see even how they're comparable. Like, Friday the 13th is, to me, just on a different level.
Yeah, big time.
Of just, more people know about Friday the 13th than they do about Rings.
Yeah. You're like, what is... Yeah, it's like, what is Rings? I don't understand. Remember the movie where the girl crawls out of the TV and kills you? Yeah, kind of. Didn't she get punched in the face in a scary movie or something?
Right, exactly. I think if you went onto the street and asked 10 people, do you know the movie Friday the 13th? Do you know the movie Rings or The Ring? More people, I guarantee, are going to know, oh, Friday the 13th, yeah.
Well,
I've heard of that. I've seen that or something.
Yeah.
Rings, they'll be like, Lord of the Rings?
Right, exactly. Like, wasn't that what the little, like, the
right.
hobo people or whatever they were called?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And especially with you would think they would have stuck with it because of the buzz for the video game. Which, when Gun Media first announced it and tried to kickstart it, which they did successfully, hallelujah, thank you, it was like, oh, you're doing a Friday the 13th game. But they've been doing a lot with IGN of just, like, here's the gameplay and stuff, and they've impressed the shit out of people.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
It's really come along, and now everybody's starting to talk about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I was, suddenly, get me my different glasses. Like, I was part of that project before it was cool.
Yeah. I wonder if they do, like, a TV show.
They did a TV show once.
No, I mean like a more modern. That one. No, I mean like with the success of Stranger Things, kind of like going to that kind of genre. I wonder if there would be room for one that would be more towards Friday the 13th.
I think you could get away with a limited series, sure. 8 episodes, maybe.
Yeah.
Because you can't go long with that because that just doesn't lend itself to a very lengthy process.
Didn't people really like the Scream TV show?
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, I haven't seen it, but apparently it was really good.
Yeah. Is it still ongoing?
I think so. I don't think it's been canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just Scream the series, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's been 3 seasons.
Oh hell, I'm way behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the one I didn't watch. I did try to watch Scream Queens, and that was a mistake.
No, I see. I never saw that.
I mean, it was... I don't understand why people like it, because they're like, oh, it cranks all the tropes up to, like, 12. I'm like, yes, and that's bad. It's just, it's terrible. I don't understand why, because everybody loves it, and I don't get it. I will step up and say, like, I just don't... Like, there's nothing... It's a cartoon. But it's not actually... You're supposed to believe that this could actually happen, but these people are cartoon characters.
Right.
They're too complete... Like, they are so divorced from the reality of it. It's
Yeah. Never looked interesting to me.
Nah, give it a pass. But yeah, apparently Scream the MTV Scream the series is good, so I need to check that out. I think it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Should look into that here after a while.
Oh yeah.
So that'll be interesting. But yeah, so we're getting a Halloween reboot, but we're not going to get a Friday the 13th reboot. So I don't know. As long as they don't do a Nightmare on Elm Street reboot, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Just because I don't know.
That's coming.
Because like remember when they did the reboot back when they did like the soft reboot for Friday the 13th. Oh, what's that been? 7-8 years now, I think.
Oh yeah.
Been a long time, and it flopped bad.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, okay, this franchise is kind of dead. And I mean that's the thing. Like some you can change the tone of some movies if you're going to say, well, we need to update it for modern audiences. Fine, but you can't, like, the things that worked 30 years ago aren't going to work now. It's just, they're just not.
Right.
And I mean, that's why I think when Zombie remade Halloween, he did it the way that he did. It's like, all right, this is, this was neat, and we're going to keep some of these elements, but a lot of this we just kind of have to toss because it doesn't work today.
Right.
And I think it worked. I mean, everybody knows I think the remake was more enjoyable than the original. I recognize, and that's what I mean. That's a product. That's a product, if I can get the English out, of the times. Like the newer one is made for newer audiences. It's
Right.
more appealing. The old one was a classic because of everything it did, but it's a product of its time.
Mm-hmm.
So unless you're willing to strip a franchise down to its studs, I don't think you can take something that was decidedly mired in its time, which is not in itself a bad thing, but if you're gonna take that and do it now, you have to go down to the foundation and start over.
Yeah.
You just kind of have to.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I liked the first one. I never saw the second one.
That one you can, yeah, you're not mistaken with the second one.
Oh, okay.
The second one was just
Yeah.
when it starts with like they're carting away his body, spoiler alert, but also he's not dead because it's Halloween, so spoiler alert again, I guess.
Right.
Much to nobody's surprise. Like the corner van hits a cow, and there's honest to God like 2 minutes of the driver sitting there all busted and bleeding and broken, and he just says fuck in so many different it's like 2 minutes. And you get uncomfortable in the theater because you're like, what is happening here? It's there's there's one part where Michael's carrying somebody away from this other crashed car, because I guess this film had a budget, and I was watching it with my buddy Daniel in theaters, and it's one of these cuts where like it's a far away shot, and he's walking towards the camera, and then he just kind of fades out and then fades back in a little closer, that kind of shot.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
and after about 30 seconds, he leans over to me and he goes, it would be so funny if that car just blew up. And we had a good chuckle about it. And then about 15 seconds later, he's still walking towards Cameron. Fucking car blew up.
That's great.
And it was just we just about died laughing in our seats because it was like, oh my god, that was. Because he just kind of said it the same way we would all think it. Like, hey, you know what would be ridiculous is if that car just decided to blow up. Wait for it. Wait for it. Boom. Oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me. I don't know. 2 has a couple of interesting elements, but it's not. I don't know. Give at least give the first like little piece of it a shot until you get past the corner van scene, because it's something you just have to see.
Yeah.
Because you're watching this and you're just like, they filmed this and edited this and they left this in. This made the cut.
That's funny.
I don't know. In some ways, it kind of really is a little bit of a masterpiece of just like, what in the hell was going on here?
Yeah.
But
I'm sure I can find it cheap somewhere.
Oh yeah, it'll be on, or I'm sure just that scene is on YouTube.
Yeah, oh, that's true.
Just because it's one of those things, it's like you can't believe that this made the cut. Like they were in the editing bay, and it was like, yep, that scene stays. Like really, that tested well enough with audiences to keep it in. Do you want this version or the full like 26-minute extended cut version of this scene? All right, you got it, Rob. No,
I'll check it out.
Yeah, but no, that was one that they were like, we're gonna do a sequel with or without you, and so Zombie was like, all right, then I guess I'm just gonna have to do it then.
Yeah.
But same thing. Nobody starts out to make a bad movie, but
Right.
just the process of making a movie takes off so much. I don't know. That's why I like reading screenplays. where like you can see, oh, here was how this was supposed to go.
Right.
And sometimes it's better. Sometimes you can tell where like, oh, they improv'd here, and it made this better. They didn't use this line. They did their own thing, and it worked better.
Yeah.
So it drives me nuts. The script for Groundhog Day explains the curse. And,
oh, really?
Yeah. It's actually in at least in one draft, they it's a jilted ex lover of his who like puts this curse on him. It's like this
that
whole
makes sense.
it's like this whole little magic thing. But I like that in the actual film they don't explain it.
Right.
I don't know, because it's not important. You're not worried about about exactly how he's stuck here. You've got, he's a terrible guy, and he's stuck living the day that he really doesn't want to live over and over again.
Right.
You don't need to explain the magic. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
So the live-action Mulan movie has a director now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Nikki Caro. Caro? I'm going to go with Caro. Nikki Caro, who did Whale Rider, which I haven't even heard of, to be honest with you.
Yep, I haven't heard of that either.
But, okay, great. Because
Yeah.
they have a writing team already installed and everything, so now they've got a director, and okay.
Well,
let's hope this movie is not as whitewashy as The Great Wall, and just not as.
I was reading that Disney's being very careful about that.
Yes, I think that was a thing from somebody a couple weeks ago where they were just like, yeah, don't worry, or Aladdin. That was what they were talking about that I saw.
Right.
Was they were like, we're not going to whitewash Aladdin. Be cool.
Well, I mean, a good start is a female director, so
Yeah.
I think that's perfect.
True.
Yeah. So step in the right direction, and I was reading an article where Disney was basically saying we're very conscious of that, and we're doing everything they can to make this good.
Yeah. Well, they need, I think especially after the Great Wall, there's a lot of scrutiny of like, hey, how come, we've kind of been harping on the idea of why is it always the white guy for a while now.
Right.
But it's 2017. Do we still really need to be having this discussion?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. The movie just doesn't even look interesting. I don't.
No, and I'll never forget Damon's defense of why it's all the white people. Do you remember he got up in the whole thing? He's like, oh, so it's completely believable that a bunch of monsters are attacking China, but it's totally but the thing that you can't wrap your head around is that there are white people. And I'm just thinking, this is ancient China, Matt. So yeah, that is the thing I have a problem with.
Right.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I don't know.
Yeah, the movie just doesn't look good.
Yeah, no, looking at the trailer, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It looks like somebody played a lot of Onimusha and said, you know what this needs? Matt Damon.
Right, yeah, exactly.
And that's kind of what you get, which is sad, because I like Matt. I look forward to many of his better movies.
Yeah.
But, they can't all be winners. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Who's putting that movie out?
Who, The Great Wall?
Yeah.
You asked me too quick. It's... Oh, I don't think it's... I'm going to say something stupid like, I don't think it's a major studio, and then watch it be, like Paramount or something.
Well, wasn't it...
Because it was a joint effort with a Chinese studio.
That's what I thought. I thought it was kind of like how Warcraft was.
Kind of.
They were like, we're now doing our, we want to release a big film, both for the East and the West. Let me see here.
Yeah, because I'm trying to look it up here. But yeah, I do remember it was, and that was the other kind of weird part. But I guess, it's because Matt Damon is a big star. They were like, yeah, well, this will work.
Mm-hmm.
Got a Chinese director to it.
Yep.
All kinds of interesting. This guy, that comes out when? Recently, right? Comes
I
out.
think it did. I don't know.
It's out this week.
Yeah, I think it's out soon.
Yeah. All right. Distributed by Universal. Hey, what do you know?
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Production: China Film Group, Atlas Entertainment, Le Vision Pictures, and Legendary East.
Yeah.
Distributed by Universal Pictures, Le Vision Pictures, and China Film Group Corporation.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know, man.
Yeah. I'm not. I'll wait till Redbox for that.
Yeah, right. If that.
Yeah.
All right.
Catch it on USA.
Yeah. That's exactly where it's gonna air too. Absolutely exactly where it's gonna air. All right. We're gonna take another quick break here. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and we'll see you all in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. And just one other small bit of movie news here. Will Smith has decided he is not going to be involved with Dumbo.
Okay.
And man, that just breaks my heart. Sorry, I don't care.
Yeah.
They're doing a live action Dumbo film. I'm sorry, we've kind of hit bottom at that point, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. But I guess the upside to that is that means Bad Boys 3 is a go. Because they were saying if he decided to jump on with Dumbo, that was going to screw up the production schedule for Bad Boys 3.
Oh, okay.
So that was a big to-do about that.
Yeah. Well,
So,
I couldn't be less interested about Dumbo, so...
Yeah, like of every Disney movie to remake, to do a live-action version of, like,
Got Lion King, Aladdin, we're doing Mulan. Those are the ones that I'm interested in.
Yeah, but Dumbo, really?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much of the movie that you got to change. So much.
Right.
Because, I mean, first off, you have to get rid of the crows. You have to do something with them. Because that was racist.
Yeah, that won't fly.
Oh, really? Touche.
Yeah.
And then you got to get rid of the drunk nightmare. That's got to go.
Yeah, man, it's been years since I've seen Dumbo, so I'm not really...
I'm telling you, it's like, oh my god, they made this for kids?
Yeah, I saw someone post a GIF or something the other day, and they were like, Dumbo was frightening.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It really was, man. I mean, just think of the idea of flying elephants for a minute, and you think if birds shit on your car, you're having a bad day.
Right.
Can you just imagine coming out and being able to say, oh, somewhere under all of that is my car?
Yeah.
That's a bad day.
Yeah.
That's a bad day. Well, I think that's going to do it for movie news. You'll just cruise into the TV portion of the show.
Yeah.
So we got some... Here was some interesting news. I don't know if it was at the upfronts or I think it was at an investor call or something. Fox Broadcasting president David Madden has said that in light of the success of X-Files and the buzz around Prison Break and the idea of, hey, remember when Fox had good shows and we can bring them back for, like some limited episode runs?
Mm-hmm.
What about that Firefly show?
Right.
If we can get Joss Whedon on board for this, we'll do it. So, Joss, I know you don't listen to this podcast because you have no idea that we exist. Do the damn show, we're begging you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious if they would do it.
I think, and that's the thing. It is, and it's always kind of been a little dependent on Joss. Because and I mean, look, this was how many years ago? He's gone on to do so. He's moved on to do so much other stuff.
Right.
So balls in his court.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
But like that would. Oh, yes, please.
Absolutely.
But we would have to have, the it's it's okay that Alan Tudyk is doing a new show because he's dead. So
No spoilers.
well, I mean, come on, this is how long has the how to reverse clean their spears joke been around?
Right.
You know, that was that was sad, but
Yeah.
and just Serenity was kind of salting the earth a little bit with some of what they did in that film.
Right.
There was decidedly a lot of just wow, okay, so we're gonna do this now.
Yeah.
No matter whoever's idea it was, it's like holy crap.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, man, I would totally welcome this. Oh my god, that'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And for like a brief, like 6-8 episode season, sure, totally.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
It's so interesting to see networks looking at this and saying, hey, you know what, this works.
Well, it was we've talked about that show just kind of being ahead of its time,
Yeah.
and how just dumb the studio was. It's perfect for this day and age when you get things like Stranger Things. It is, and there's not that many, you know, Star Trek's not on air. You know what I mean? Like we don't have shows like that right now. We have some weird, cool sci-fi shows, but Firefly's a name that would just be so recognized, I think, if it came back.
Right. Could you just imagine that announcement at Comic-Con?
Oh my God, they'd lose their minds.
Oh, hey, and just and we've got one more thing to announce for you, and then just throw the logo up and walk off the stage.
Oh yeah,
That's
and
it.
the way in which people consume things these days, it's man, I'd be happier if it was Netflix doing it.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's kind of their idea.
Yeah.
I think that was why they were like, hey, if we're gonna do X-Files, let's just do like a few episodes.
Right.
And it worked because that kind of is the model we're moving towards. We're kind of getting away from, you could still do it with sitcoms because they're just, oh hey, here's a quick half hour of something. Like
Right.
that's why sitcoms are gonna be 22 episodes forever.
Right.
And that's fine. That's not a big deal. But we found because it's funny because I'm going back and rewatching Smallville because it's on Hulu, and because I forgot how much I really enjoyed that show. And at the same time, my girl and I are watching Buffy because she's never seen it before.
Yeah.
And the thing that cracks me up is watching both of these shows and going, they use the exact same ideas a lot of the time. Like the very like it's kind of spooky how it's just like it's down to the detail exact. I'm like, oh yeah, that's because when you're doing a show like this, there are only so many places you can go before you start to run out of ideas.
Right.
It's just the nature of it. Like it's no knock on the writers or anything. It's just a matter of, there's only so many permutations and combinations here.
Yeah.
So X-Files was another one that was like that. Like Monster of the Week stuff, a lot of it's filler. And it's by the very nature of it. So if you want to tell, I think when Netflix came along and was like, hey, let's do these shows in, like tinier chunks, and AMC too.
I think it started with the British where they were like, let's just do 10 or 13 episodes.
Yeah.
And then Netflix took that and they were like, what if we put them all out at the same time?
Right.
Yeah.
And then,
so,
AMC. Well, and to be fair, HBO's shows didn't have like 20 episode seasons.
Yeah, exactly. You're absolutely right.
I think maybe they predated Netflix on that. They were ahead of their time on that, I think.
Right. Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
And then, look where we are now. But that's I think for hour-long dramas in particular, that's the new model.
Yeah.
Of like, here's how you can do this and not be cramming it with filler and odd bottle episodes like The Fly and everything.
Yeah, I mean, that's why, Breaking Bad was as good as it was. I think a lot of it had to do with it. They knew they could do just short seasons,
right,
and not have to do filler. Imagine shows. See, Lost was was, right before all of that.
Yeah, could you imagine if Lost had hit this like now?
Well, see, that's what, I think Lost was actually one of the bigger shows to adopt that, but it was at the very end of its show,
Yeah.
and I think it would have benefited if they went into it going, we can do shorter episodes, meaning we don't have to chase a pig around the forest for one episode. We could
Right.
keep it more, all about the deep lore that everyone loves, and it would have totally benefited doing that.
Yeah, that's a show I would love to see done in this style. Like a 12
Right.
episode season, like it would be so much tighter. It would be, and I think that's why so many
Well, I
people
mean,
are kind of championing this new format.
it's the Dragon Ball Kai effect.
Yes.
They take Z and they cut out all the filler, and you get left with the main story.
Right, and it's good.
Yeah,
Like,
it's good.
it shows you like, oh, okay, all this, like, and every once in a while with like a little fluff episode,
Right.
they kind of hit something interesting, but 9 times out of 10 you're like, we could lose this and not really, like, it wouldn't really affect anything.
Right, like we didn't have to watch Piccolo and Goku go shopping for the day in a monster attack the city, and nothing changed the story. He made it home in time for dinner. Like, it was just
right.
all of that was left off the table.
Yeah. Fun and funny, but not, you're like, oh my god, why am I watching this?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Good times. Netflix went on like a little spree here, but I'm gonna jump for just a second, so we'll do all that in like one bunch. Did you ever play Costume Quest?
No, I downloaded it.
You should play it. Like, it's fun. It's a fun little, like, kind of RPG-ish game.
Right.
They're fun, because there's two, and it's awesome. And Amazon has decided that this would make a good animated series.
What?
Okay, like, I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm totally cool for that. Like, that could work.
What's the gameplay like in that?
It's very RPG. It's
okay.
It's very RPG. It's old school kind of RPG.
Oh, okay.
It's not the newer. It's not like the real time stuff. It goes back
Right.
to like old turn based and everything.
Okay.
It's fun. It's simple, and it's especially the combat. Like, the combat's really simple, but it's a fun, enjoyable little. Hey, look, here's kids in Halloween costumes, and when they fight the bad creatures, they use the power of their costumes. Or like, oh, I'm dressed as like a little dinky robot, and then
Okay.
and then you go into battle, and you're like a giant mech. It's like, hey, look, imagination. What do you know?
Right.
So it's fun. I liked them, and you can collect blueprints for new costumes and everything. It's cool.
Yeah.
They're fun, cute little games.
Yeah.
But so we have that, and Netflix went on a bit of a spree this week. They announced the second season of the OA.
Oh, okay. I've seen part of the pilot of that, but I didn't watch anything else of it.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen any of it, but I hear good things. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, Netflix does that where they're like, here's the thing we made.
Right.
No big giant, like, they have, they did a thing for Orange is the New Black. The 5th season premieres June 9th. But for like their newer stuff, something like that, or House of Cards, is like, hey, here's kind of a big thing because it's established and you guys love it. And so, we know how marketing works.
Right.
But for new stuff like the OA, and even Stranger Things.
Yeah, I remember Stranger Things did the same thing. Yeah. They just dropped the trailer one day.
Yeah, it was like, hey, here's a thing we made.
Right.
It's like, okay, sure, I guess we'll check this out.
Yeah.
Because they've built that kind of brand recognition of, like, hey, look, it's a Netflix original series or original movie. Well, okay, I've got to at least check it out.
Yeah.
It kind of sells itself, which Netflix has done a fantastic job marketing just the idea of just the words Netflix original, and your ears perk up.
Right.
Always. And Amazon Video, only on Amazon Video doesn't really do that. Hulu original series kind of does that.
Maybe.
I mean, a little bit, because they've had some successes. What's the James Franco one? Was it 11/22/63?
You got it. Yep.
That and The Path got a lot of buzz, and that actually looked good. Like I want to sit down and watch that at some point.
Yeah.
But if you hear like, it's a Hulu original, you're still just kind of like, maybe, I don't know. Some of that stuff looks kind of cool, I guess. But when you hear Netflix original series, you're like, ooh, I want to check that out.
Right. Yeah. Always give it a shot.
Yeah, because it's always they've hit it out of the park so much, and there is something on there for everybody.
Yeah.
So good for them. And they announced, speaking of something for everybody, they've announced they're working on an animated show with a guy named Adi Shankar, who I don't remember which show it was he worked on. It was Adventure Time or something. I honestly don't remember. It was one of those shows. But he is working on a show. It's going to be split into 4 30-minute parts, and it's going to be a Game of Thrones inspired Castlevania series.
Oh, okay.
That's the most metal thing I have ever heard.
Yeah, I'm down.
But that's just going to be, like, I don't even know, man. I'm serious. Like, when I heard that, my first thought was heavy metal.
Yeah, and they come out and said it's not going to be for kids either.
Oh no, what did he say? It's going to be R-rated as fuck.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, I'm down. I mean, it would have to be, really.
Yeah.
But it's the premise is apparently like the Belmont clan is disgraced and Dracula is trying to take over Europe, but there's that one plucky Belmont who just has to fight back. It's
yeah.
I don't know.
The producer of this thing is the guy who did the gritty Power Rangers internet thing and the Punisher one.
Right, and did you see he wants to do an animated show in the style of that Power Rangers trailer?
Yeah.
And he's working on it, and he's got like an 18-month plan for when he wants to have it out by, and he had the greatest description of it I've ever heard. He described it as Power Rangers meets Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, that would be really cool.
Sold. And done in the style of that trailer that kind of flipped everybody out one way or another. Yeah. Count me in.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Totally.
That would be awesome. Like because you could definitely be like, not for children, not affiliated with any of the children's stuff whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's going to get made because they've got the movie coming out and everything.
Yeah.
They're not going to want anything, quote unquote, contaminating the brand.
Right.
So it'll never happen. Like, he wants to do it on Netflix.
That'd be perfect.
Since they're already doing the Castlevania series. That's kind of where he wants this to be, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It would indeed. All right. Time for another break. All right. Cool. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and we'll see you all in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. Just one more little bit of TV news here. The long gestating Mayans MC series, the Sons of Anarchy spinoff, which I think everybody's kind of forgotten about.
Yeah.
They cast Edward James Olmos to star in it.
That's cool.
He's going to be the Ron Perlman kind of character. He's going to be the aging patriarch, etc., etc.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, and that's all right. I mean, EJO's a badass. Like, I'll take that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be good.
But, so yeah. We'll jump into some video game news. You saw some Pokemon Go news a minute ago. Tell me about it.
Oh, yeah. Apparently, 80 new Pokemon are going to be dropped later this week.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So it's the Gen 2 update. Now I forget how many. Was it only 80 that was in gold and silver that were the new gen?
No, they dropped a whole nother like 100, I thought.
Okay. Yeah. So probably they're leaving out like the big ones.
Sure. Yeah, because that was like from Gen 2 on, they started to get a little bigger with like these are the legendary Pokemon to where like you're kind of like you're starting to get more legendary quote unquote legendary Pokemon than you were just like the regular ones.
Right. All right. So it says here that there were 100 new ones in gold and silver. 8 are babies, and 6 are legendary / mystic.
Okay.
So that leaves 86, and it's unclear where the last few may be hiding.
Sure.
So I imagine those will be rolled out in events and stuff like that.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah. So I'm curious if we're going to start seeing people out there again going bananas. I'm curious if this, was just something from last year, or if the word gets around that there's 80 new ones, if people will be out there, walking as much as they were and riding bikes.
I don't think so. I think we see a bump. I definitely think we see an uptick.
Yeah.
But I don't think we will ever see a resurgence like we had at the beginning of this.
Right.
I don't see it.
Well, this is definitely, I know what I'm doing on my break today, and yeah, definitely been walking around, going to the park. I know it won't be being the new ones, but kind of want to get back into it anyway.
Right.
But yeah, that should be later this week. So just look for updates, on your phone. Once it updates it, you should be seeing new guys.
Yeah.
There's no firm launch date. They just said it would be this week.
Later this week. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I guess early leaks said possibly Saturday the 18th. So
interesting. So probably it'd be like a weekend thing. Sure, it makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
It's when everybody will be out and about for the most part anyway. Like, hey, you got a day off? There's a bunch of new Pokemon out there you could be looking for.
Yep. Should be cool though.
I don't know. We'll see. Like I'm all for it.
Yep.
New is, Barney's one rule: new is always better. So.
Yep. Oh yeah.
But I don't know. Could work. It'll definitely be interesting for sure. But yeah, I think the hype train on that is firmly parked in the station for good though.
Yeah.
But hey, it if nothing else, it showed the power of nostalgia and of our generation.
Yeah.
Give us what we want and we will buy the shit out of it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, nostalgia goes a long way with us.
Yeah. And a new spin on it. Don't just repackage. Like, cause even we're getting tired of like the same thing repackaged over and over again. Like, there's only so many different ways you can buy Final Fantasy VII. Like you gotta give us something different at least. Right. Okay, fine. How about a remake? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Which it drives me nuts how many people they were like, we got a piece of artwork from it, and that's all? Really? That's the only thing you're going to give us? Guys, shut up and let them work on the game.
Right.
We know it's going to take a while. I want it to take a while. Because I want them to work and say, you know what, this doesn't work, this does work, this needs to go here. Hang on, we're going to have to not push this back because we haven't given a release date yet because we know this is a ridiculously ambitious project.
Right.
Take all the time you need.
Yeah.
I waited the entire life cycle of the PS3 and then some just for this to be a real thing. I can wait a few more years. I'm fine.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Speaking of giant announcements, did you see that E3 is going to be open to the public this year?
Oh man, if only I could afford to go there.
Right? No kidding. Now, I don't think this covers the press conferences. I think that's the only part of this it doesn't cover. But
that's okay.
But like the floor and everything else, it's going to be open to the public. Tickets are $150, which, considering that, it's E3. Yeah.
Right.
That's fine. And it's a pass for the whole. I'm pretty sure that price is like an all E3 pass.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just for like, oh, and we showed up on Friday. It's for the whole thing. So I love, like, that's a way to turn this into like a video game Comic-Con.
Yeah. That's what it's going to be. I think that the big play, IGN, GameSpot, Giant Bomb, Kind of Funny, they're all still going to get their back room demos. And,
Oh yeah.
this isn't going to change much for them. I think it's just they're gonna look at the floor and go, oh, where these are all those people. And last year there were a lot of people missing from E3.
Yeah.
I think this is a way to get them back in, where they'll have booths where they can have the public play.
Right.
Like, I think, wasn't Nintendo only Zelda last year? And
yeah, that was their only thing.
Right, and like so many other studios just didn't come. They went to the conference, but that was it. So I think this was their way of going, hey, we're going to have a lot of people on the floor now. You might want to come and bring your games back to let them play.
I think this is a brilliant idea.
It's really smart. Yeah.
So good on them. Good on them for doing that thing. We finally got one of our wishes with Injustice 2. We are going to finally have Cheetah as a playable character. It's a fun little trailer. No, Swamp Thing is officially confirmed.
Yeah.
And that's awesome, because I know we've been talking about that forever.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Swamp Thing would be good. Animal Man would be great if they did him as well.
Yeah.
Constantine, that whole side would be fantastic.
Bring all the Justice League Dark. Be great.
Yeah, pretty much.
I haven't seen that animated one yet, but I've heard good things.
I would love a Justice League Dark video game.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Because that could be a little more mystery than just like a straight up. Because like a Justice League game is just gonna be an action game.
Yeah.
But like a Justice League Dark game is gonna tend a little more towards like a horror, investigative kind of game.
Yeah. No, I mean, I could totally even do like a Telltale game like that.
Yeah, that would be interesting. It'd be a fun cast to play with, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or they should do like Justice League Dark, the hidden object game for iPad. My mom would play that so much.
I would love to see that just to see like the internet collapse on itself.
Yeah.
Like,
it wouldn't even be that bad, though. It'd be good.
No,
that's the thing.
It would be a fun little thing, but they would be like, "You had the Justice League Dark, and this is what you made for us." Ah. Yeah.
Well, honestly, Marvel's not that far off with these card games and just all these terrible mobile games. DC's doing the same thing as well.
Yeah.
I mean, even WWE has a card game on mobile that's just terrible.
Have you played I'll tell you what's surprisingly not terrible. Have you played their new one? Was it Champions?
No.
It's basically it's in the same style of like, it's like a match 3 kind of thing. But I don't know, like it's a little bit interesting. Not enough to be like, "Oh my god, you should go do this." But it's like, you know what? For free, it's a fun, goofy little, if you've got 5 minutes kind of game.
Mm-hmm. Problem with those games is you always hit a wall if you don't sign in every day, if you don't do this, if you don't do that.
Yeah.
Then you gotta buy gems. You gotta do this, you gotta do that.
Yeah, that's where they get you. That's where they get you. But it's great because it does show like some of the superstars from back in NXT. Like you have different. Like, instead of like different costumes, each different era of a character is its own character.
Oh, that's cool.
So like you can have like Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns from NXT.
Oh, okay.
As well as, current roster. And it reminded me like, oh yeah, Roman was badass back in NXT.
Yeah.
And then yeah, we'll get to him later.
Yeah.
Did, did you see? And this makes me nuts. So, South Park: The Fractured But Whole has been delayed again.
Yep.
I'm gonna cancel my pre-order. Like
yeah. No, I did with Sony, and I got my money back.
Yeah, I want to do that just to go through because there's some stuff on the store. It's actually kind of cool that I'm looking at. But just because like one delay was fine, and even this delay would have been okay if they hadn't said it's going to be until their next. It's going to come out during our next fiscal year. Their next fiscal year runs from March of this year until April of next year.
Right.
So it could come out in 6 months. It could come out in a year.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, guys. I will be happy to pick this up when it comes out because I know it's going to be good. Because the last South Park game had delays. The last South Park game had to survive the sale of THQ.
Yeah, it's true.
So I mean, I'm pretty sure it was THQ.
Who knows? Maybe it'll come out on the Switch.
It could. It totally could. There's nothing overly taxing about that.
Right.
It would do perfectly fine on the Switch.
Yeah.
But like I'm sorry guys. I will pick it up when it comes out. I will because the first game was awesome, and it suffered through delay after delay, and it turned out to be worth it.
Right.
And this suffered. I'm hoping that they have a new release date at E3 this year, where they're like, okay, and this is when it's going to come out. Honest, we promise.
Right.
Stop sending us emails.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I don't know. I when you aim high, this is sometimes what happens.
Yeah.
But you and I are on the same page of like, look, just make sure it's good.
Right.
If it takes time, it takes time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll play it whenever it comes out.
Yeah. We didn't have any other because that was all the video game news I could find. It was a little light this week.
I think so. Yeah, I know. I saw a video of the Greg Miller interviewing Kojima. Did you see that at all?
No, I didn't. But I saw the picture of both of them like holding the Master Sword in the stone.
Oh yeah.
That was. I was like, oh my god, that's a badass picture.
Oh yeah, he talked about that on his one of his podcasts this week, and just like he was just saying how it's funny um, going anywhere with him or doing anything with Kojima. And he just says like it's like the one true rock star of that video game industry, and how people treat him when he walks in the room, everyone goes quiet and everything. And he's like he's just a normal guy who really loves movies, like, and it's weird for him. So anyway, he did the interview and everything, and he said some strange things. Like
You're kidding.
Right. He couldn't comment too much on what Death Stranding is and all of that, but he did say he's looking at doing interesting ways in connecting things, even using social networks. And he said that's these strings connecting everybody. Like in the trailer, it has the core, the umbilical cord, and everything else. Like,
right.
There's these strings connecting everybody. Wouldn't it be cool if it was connected to your social media, your Facebook, Twitter, something like that? And it was just weird. So I'm curious if like how the game will play into that, because Kojima loves to mess with stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like PT and Metal Gear and it'd be interesting if somehow it connected it to the game connected to your Facebook, and it like told you names of people and stuff like that. Like that would be weird in the game. But he said he was very coy about it. He said, "I want to do things that haven't been done before," that kind of stuff. And that's what just made my imagination go, "Whoa, what is he talking about?" So it should be interesting.
Yeah, it gives you something to think about. I mean, remember back the original Metal Gear Solid, like when you fought Psycho Mantis, you had to switch your controller port.
Right.
Like there was that, and it would read your memory card, and it was
Memory card. Yeah.
that was the best thing. Like if you had Castlevania save on, it was like, oh, you have good taste.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. So it should be interesting. Um.
well, and I think just looking at the games, especially from uh, Sons of Liberty forward, Kojima has really been fascinated with the idea of social networks
Mhm.
and connectivity. Like
Yeah.
the idea of how everybody is kind of in one giant enclosed system
Right.
in a lot of ways. Like he's toyed with that a little bit.
Right.
So if he's really going to go heavy on this, like it's gonna be it's I'm interested for sure.
Right. And he also talked about how it's an open world game because he said when you make an open world game, you can't really go back because your brain just starts thinking that way.
Right?
And so, he talked about that, you know, um, not too much else, it was cool hearing like how he met Norman Reedus and all of these people in Hollywood and just how obsessed he is with Hollywood. I'm surprised he hasn't actually done a film.
I think he loves the interactivity too much.
Oh, that's true.
I don't think he could do something that you just sit down and watch. I mean he's tried. Let's remember Metal Gear Solid 4.
Right.
But there's still the idea of interactivity. He still wants to have his audience actively involved, at least in parts of it. So
Yeah.
I think that's why he hasn't gotten into film. I think he would love to. I've no doubt in my mind whatsoever. But I still think it's that idea of audience interaction
Right.
that he loves just too much to not do.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, we're going to take a break. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast here on the N.FM, and we'll see you all in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. And, yeah, so we kind of have to talk about PewDiePie here a little bit.
Right.
Give me the headline is that he lost his partnership with Disney Makers Studio because of content in some videos.
Right, which I'm surprised it's taken them this long to realize that he's not really child friendly.
Yeah, little bit.
He curses a lot. He says a lot of just you know fucked up things. Not as much as he used to, but um, for being crude and whatnot. But now it's more of you know, recently I've never really been a big fan of PewDiePie. I've always respected just how he got to where he was, and his story and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But his content wasn't really our demographic. It was a lot younger. Even though he's not for kids, but he kind of is. His videos,
right?
The
They're
way they
for
are.
adolescents. Like they're for
Right.
12-year-olds.
Exactly.
Basically, which that's fine. That's your audience. Go for it.
Right. But he's always been an interesting, because of YouTube and how he is on top of YouTube, higher than anyone else. And he's always kind of tried to push the limit, or he's always definitely tried to push the limit with YouTube. And I guess he went too far this time. I'm not. It's not really clear in this article who kind of started, investigating his videos, but apparently they found within the last few months 10 instances where he's referenced Hitler or Nazis or showed symbolism in his videos. And he came out with a letter which I wish I had in front of me. But part of it, his stance, what he came out and said is that, I was trying to show how crazy the modern world is, specifically with some services available online. I picked something that seems so absurd to me, that people on Fiverr would say anything for $5. And of course, he paid them the $5 to say "Death to all Jews" and a sign. And of course, it's not going to go over well with Disney. They not only canceled or they severed their relationship with him, but so did YouTube when it came to a lot of their services and their advertising.
Wow.
So I'm curious. The thing about him is he is so he's on top. So none of this is really gonna, I think, affect him terribly. Um, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens moving forward. Uh, I think context is super important here. I don't have all of it in front of me. Um, but I don't think he was out there
Right.
trying to be.
Yeah.
Um,
He wasn't out there, promoting white
right.
nationalism. Like
But
that's
the result is,
yeah.
you know, of what happened. So, and maybe he'll take a minute and realize, oh, definitely terrible idea, which I guess he's already realized. But yeah, no, it's gonna be interesting to watch. See what he does, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this is gonna mean for. Yeah, I guess they canceled his show as well
Yeesh.
with YouTube. He had a show called like
Oh,
Scare
Scare
PewDiePie.
PewDiePie, yeah, on YouTube Red. Yeah.
Yeah, they were bringing it back for the second season. It is the most watched thing on their channel, so it's a pretty big deal them
Yeah.
dropping it.
Well, I mean, I understand the idea of like people push boundaries and it's like how absurd are things. I understand that. And
Right.
on the one hand I don't fault him for that because there was genuinely no malicious intent. It
Well, and the other things he was doing when he was showing the Nazi stuff on YouTube was he was saying people are getting paid from YouTube to mark certain videos okay and certain videos not okay, and that's why he was doing that. He was trying to show the problems of the system that he's in.
right.
So it's not like he was out there purposely promoting it, but unfortunately children were taking it the wrong way and they were looking at him as this alt-right person that they can look up to when it is couldn't be further from the truth. He was just trying to show, okay, what's the problem here? Why are videos like this okay but other videos not?
Yeah. The
uh,
idea
so
the idea of here's the problem with free speech and then what happens is you find out what the problem of free speech is.
right,
Like
exactly.
it sucks because I get his point because it
Yeah,
was but that's you know these
it's
are the consequences of pushing
right,
the envelope. I mean George
right,
Carlin famously was the here are the 7 dirty words you can't say on television. And
right,
so he wasn't on television for a long time.
exactly.
Like
Yeah.
that's these, to use a broader example, I guess.
Yeah,
But
and he's in a good place because he is on top, he doesn't need
right,
Disney. He has his own audience and his own following, and I'm sure the people that follow him, I'm sure a lot of them know what he was doing, but it's a shame that that subsection took it and ran with it in such a terrible way, and
right,
and what he did wasn't it wasn't okay. So
yeah.
this is the consequences of it.
These are, I mean, that's this is kind of what happens, and it from what little bit I have seen, he hasn't come out and like thrown a big fit about it. Like you would
No,
expect,
no,
some people would come out and say, "Why'd you do this?" Blah blah blah. He came out and explained why he did it, and
right,
kind of seems like he's all right in a sense of just like, and these are, and this, and so this is what happened. Like
right,
he doesn't seem surprised,
right.
but you know, I, I get the point. I do. I understand where he was going with this, and I applaud the idea of come look at the flaws inherent in the system. But you know, this is what happens.
Yeah.
This is the price you pay for saying, hey, look how this can be screwed up.
Hmm.
Somebody's gonna smack you down in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. I don't think his channel will be fine. His own
Right.
YouTube channel, like that's not going anywhere. Um, somewhere down the road, I imagine his partnership with YouTube will heal. I don't think it really goes anywhere in the long term. I don't think his partnership with Disney ever. I think they're done.
Right.
I don't think they go near him again with a 10-foot pole.
Oh, no, and he'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, more of his quote was, "I think it's important to say that I want to make one thing clear. I am in no way supporting any kind of hateful attitudes. I make videos for my audience. I think the content that I create as entertainment and not a place for any serious political commentary. I know my audience understands that, and I know that's why they come to my channel. Though this was not my intention, I understand that these jokes ultimately were offensive. As laughable as it is to believe that I might actually endorse these people, to anyone unsure of my standpoint regarding hate-based groups, no, I don't support those people in any way." And then, of course, what I said earlier. So I think it was important that he came out and said that, and he wasn't, he was totally out of character when he wrote that. So.
Yeah. So there's, that's it's. This is one of those things that. This is one of those kind of things where the effects are going to take a while. Like, what are the ripple effects from this?
Right.
And that's where we're going to see. And what is it? Because I mean, freedom of speech is freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm.
And that works both ways. You can say things that some people are going to like. You can say things that a lot of people are not going to like.
Right.
And if you're the thing is, the idea of people forget that companies have the right to say no, we don't want to be affiliated with this.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
For any reason, and I mean this is, like every time a CEO gets fired because he hates on any kind of group of people, and they're like, but freedom of speech. Yeah, but
well, not to get political, but how many people dumped Trump after all the things he was saying?
Right.
His daughter, like companies have the right to do that.
Right, they do, and on the same token, people have a right to get upset about that. That's that is how it works. Every side of this is how free speech works, and
right.
that's what a lot of people can't understand. When
right.
Oh, they decided to walk away from this. Well, what happened to freedom of speech? Yeah, first of all the First Amendment does is say the government can't tell you can't say these things.
Right.
That's
exactly.
it. A business can say you can't say these things, or we think that you are devaluing our company by saying these things, so we have to do what we believe is best for our business. That's capitalism. And when free speech and capitalism collide, it freaks people out, because here are things that are supposed to work in this bizarre kind of tandem that never works out that way, because that's not how those things work.
Right.
And I don't know. So this is going to be interesting to keep an eye on and see how does this reflect on other personalities, or on other videos, or on YouTube's policies. Like it's gonna be curious going forward.
Yeah.
Because you get into what is, at some point, what's the line between a lack of sponsorship and censorship.
Right.
And that's I don't know. This is an interesting little test balloon, and maybe it fizzles out because it wasn't intentional. He didn't come out and say, yes, I am a Nazi, blah blah blah. He came out, he said, look, this was me pushing the boundaries of comedy, because that's what humorists do.
Right, and that's why I think context is so important, because
exactly.
he was trying to show these are ridiculous. This shouldn't be allowed. What can I? This needs to be looked at here. How ridiculous do we have where we can pay someone to say hateful things? And
so many people out there will do it for free.
Yeah, exactly.
Why would you pay for it? That's it. That is absurd. It cost him $5.
Yeah. Yep. But I'm sure it cost him more with all of its advertising and everything.
Uh-huh.
But
I absolutely agree and that's just it. That's why I think this is what makes it a little more complex, is that this is not just somebody unhinged going off the deep end.
Right.
This is an actual thought-provoking, like, hey, this is why. And I agree. I absolutely agree that context is the most important part of this. And that's why I think this is going to be tremendously interesting to keep an eye on.
Right.
For sure. But
Yeah.
uh
I mean, let's not forget. He to think he's hateful like that, it's crazy. I mean, how much money he's raised for charities over the years. Like he just did one that I think raised like 100, or I'm sorry, 1.3 million for let's see, what charity was it? For the Red non-for-profit organization Red,
oh nice.
that I believe has to do with HIV, correct?
HIV/AIDS, yeah. Yeah, they
Yeah,
do a lot
so
with like they do a lot with Starbucks too. Like that kind of
right,
thing.
right. So I mean, we'll it'll be interesting. Hopefully he takes this and somehow spins it into something positive.
Yes. I
And
I agree.
yeah, so
And yeah, it's
um
go ahead, go for it.
oh no, I was gonna say, was there any other video game news?
I didn't really see anything.
I saw that you people who play Warcraft, you can now use your gold to buy loot boxes in Overwatch.
Real? Oh yeah, sure, because it's a Blizzard product. Yeah.
Yeah, so apparently you can use your gold for that, and um, something for the Heroes of the Storm game. So that's cool. So I know a lot of people have been, just up to their ears in gold and Warcraft. Now you can use it for your other games, which is cool.
Oh great, that's what we need. The Warcraft community getting ridiculously OP in Overwatch.
Right, right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, I mean it's all cosmetic. So
Well, sure. Yeah. They've been
yeah,
no, they have been really good about that. I like that.
yeah, yeah. So and I mean their costumes are just fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just saw the Chinese New Year ones and they all look great.
Yeah, there's the design in that like it I've always said like it's not my kind of game, but
Right.
to look at like I respect that. It's not like, oh, somebody kind of game so sucks. Like you guys enjoy it, go for it. Mazel tov. But the
Yeah.
aesthetics are amazing. Like
Oh yeah.
I look at that and I'm just like, damn, that's high level design work. Well done.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I've been playing a lot of that recently, and Rocket League,
Yeah, they got
which is
it's either they're getting or they got Hot Wheels cars, right?
yeah. I don't think it's there yet,
It's
but
okay.
my buddy that I've played video games with since Jedi Knight 2 finally got a PlayStation.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, he actually listens to the show. Hey, Sean.
Oh,
But yeah,
yo.
he just got a PlayStation, so he got all of the like all of the Naughty Dog games and beat them all the
Nice.
first week.
Nice.
Yeah, and so he loved those. He got Rocket League because he loves Rocket League on his Xbox and PC, and been playing a lot of that and trying to get better. There's a lot of fun modes in there. Have you played it where it's got like the rockets and the
Oh, the like I forget what they actually call it. I always just called it power up mode.
yeah, it was a ton of fun.
I mean, look, it's different. It's kind of actually back to the original game.
Yeah.
What was because that was great. Like when this came out, it was like from the people who made what was it? Supersonic rocket powered battle cars.
I was gonna say, you're saying the girl from Deadpool?
Yeah, basically. But it was like, oh, I remember this. This was kind of fun. And they were like, yeah, they made car soccer. I was
Right.
like, what?
Yeah.
And we got it for free on PlayStation, and it was just like, holy shit, this is amazing. This is just so
Oh, yeah.
ridiculous. It's
Oh, yeah.
amazing.
Did you see the No Clip documentary on Rocket League?
No, they've got one.
Oh yeah, they've done Rocket League, then they did the new Doom, and then they did Carmack, the guy who created the original Doom, for the
Okay.
third month. So I don't know what's
Cool.
going to be this month, but man, they're knocking it out of the park.
Yeah, I have to check that out.
With these documentaries. Oh yeah, especially the Rocket League one. It's super interesting hearing how they went from nothing, to where they are now. And
Because it's such a ridiculously simple concept. Like
yeah.
there is nothing complicated about that game at all.
Oh yeah.
And it's fascinating.
Oh yeah, they talk about every time they thought about adding something, and they thought it takes away from the core gameplay. We don't want to do it.
Exactly.
And then it makes sense now that they are adding little things. They're doing it where it fits in with the rest of the game.
Less is more. That's a lesson so many game companies can learn from.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
No kidding. All right. We're gonna take one more break here. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and we'll see you all in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. Before we get into wrestling news, I want to throw this rumor out here. I saw this on, it was on Collider somewhere, and take this with a grain of salt. But with everything going on with the Batman, like we had just talked about, there are reportedly rumors that after Justice League, Affleck wants out. And I again take this with, like a boulder-sized grain of salt here, because I don't know. But
wait, so after the Batman or after Justice League?
After Justice League.
So no doing Batman.
No doing the Batman.
Well, that would be weird.
Yeah, it would. But if and I think if this proves even remotely true, even if there were discussions about this, maybe he ultimately stays, fine. But if it really did get to the point where he's been seriously considering this, it kind of, I think, confirms our fears about how DC's been running their film universe.
Yeah, for sure.
And
he's been the one shining example of everybody can agree on.
Right, pretty much.
Yeah. Everyone agrees he's great as Batman, and his Batman was, great.
And Gal Gadot, like they've been good on her too.
Right.
But like if this is even remotely true, this is bad.
Yeah. Like
really bad.
Yep.
But so we had some wrestling stuff this week. We gotta talk. Oh, hey, she's awake. We didn't get to it last week. The Rock and Roll Express is gonna be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Very cool. This week, Teddy Long was announced to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is awesome and overdue, and God bless Teddy. That was when I came into wrestling. Was just after the first brand split. And, Steph ran SmackDown for a while, and then you had Teddy Long. And Teddy Long, I loved Teddy Long. I did. I absolutely did.
See, that's why I didn't watch wrestling at this time.
Yeah, he was fun. Teddy came out and just had a good time. And he got a little tag team match crazy. He did. But I dug it. And I mean, he was.
What about Stephanie's awkward impression of him? Jeez.
Yeah, that was. It wasn't as bad as when JBL tripped at Elimination Chamber. Did you see that?
Yeah.
That's God bless. Oh, King Ross over at What Culture must have just absolutely creamed his pants when that happened. Like, like he would have. Oh my God, he will play that. Like that will air at his funeral.
Did you see the WTF for?
No, I didn't yet.
His entire WTF for Elimination Chamber. He goes, I couldn't do one because of blah, 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 so here's just 4 minutes of JBL tripping. It's 4 minutes of, like, all different angles that he got from people who recorded it.
Oh, God bless you, King Ross. That's magnificent. That's perfect. That's absolutely fucking perfect.
Yeah. It was great.
Oh, thank you. So, okay, well, now I gotta go watch that later. Oh, man. But aside from that, and Rosa Mendez retired. She's been gone for a while. She was on maternity leave, I think.
Right.
And I guess was just kind of like, you know what? Not coming back.
Yeah.
And I didn't read the statement or anything. But, hey, cool, fine, rock on, more power to you.
She's not Total Divas anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. On a sad note, we lost Chavo Guerrero Sr.
Yeah.
And that was a bummer, because he was fun during his WWE run. I liked the stuff they did with him and Chavo and Eddie. Like, it was good. His TNA stuff, not quite so much. But he had. I
never saw it.
Yeah, he had a hell of a career a long time ago, and just kind of hung around because he was such an institution
Right.
everywhere else. And so, good for him. And that was a bummer because he was fun. He was such a personality. I love the little bit that they did with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, always a bummer. Always a bummer.
Yeah.
But so to segue out of that into something slightly less depressing, we had Elimination Chamber this weekend.
Yep.
And look, man, here's the thing. Most of the card was Like, it was not... Most of those matches were not great.
I think the Cena match was great.
The Cena match was good. Well, I mean, the main event was fantastic. Like,
Yeah.
But, like, the first, like, hour of that pay-per-view... Like, I was not really impressed. I liked Natalya and Nikki.
Yeah.
That was good.
Just the ending.
I hated the ending, but I liked the match. The Naomi Alexa Bliss match was good. They had a couple rough spots, but I liked it overall. The Orton Luke Harper match had the unfortunate distinction of being kind of on this sort of middling card, where it was like everything was just kind of off, and that kind of carried over in the atmosphere into this match, which sucked because it was a fantastic match.
Oh my gosh, I'm an idiot. Why did I say Cena? I meant Harper.
Yeah.
Jeez,
I'm telling you what, that match made him.
Right.
That cemented, like, oh yeah, this guy can be a singles competitor.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Oh yeah.
No doubt. And I'll tell you what, if he had this like a year ago, then I would say he could contend for WrestleMania, because we're going to have to talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
And then we had the actual Elimination Chamber match, which was awesome. I loved the little tweaks they did to redesign the chamber. It was great. And the match itself was fantastic. I really, really loved the match. And new WWE champion. Yes, thank you. Finally.
Oh yeah.
Finally, Bray Wyatt gets the title.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this is something that's been 3 years overdue, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
But good for him. Good for him.
Yeah, I'm glad he got it. Yeah.
And then we'll get to the fun part of why that's interesting here in a minute, and the disappointing part. But we've got to talk Raw real quick, because 2 big things happened Monday night. The awesome part, and there were arguably 2 awesome parts, depending on how sad you want to feel. Bayley winning women's gold.
Yeah.
I agree with the people who are like, this was too early, it would have been an awesome Mania moment, blah, blah, blah. I get that. I understand that. But damn, I was so happy. Like,
yeah.
I don't even care. Like, I loved it, and I was so glad to see it. And the match was awesome. That was a solid main event.
Yeah.
And then we had the Festival of Friendship, which was beautifully absurd. That whole thing, like, that was the pinnacle. Like, I
want that painting.
Right? Like, that thing was just so ridiculous. It was amazing. And that was, you could see the crowd appreciated it. They were like, this is just ridiculous. We love it. And it had to end here, because I don't think there was any higher they could go. I think this was the pinnacle of we can't get any more kind of ridiculous with this in all the good ways. Like, it's just going to go downhill from here.
Yeah.
And the delivery on it was so amazing at the very end. Just a new list. I love it, because the old one was so getting beaten, worn out and everything. Why is my name on it? And then just tipped it up for the camera.
You know what I loved? I loved Jericho, and it seemed like it was the realest we ever seen Jericho when he was actually talking about, like, this has been one of the best years of my career, and I'm glad I got to spend it with you. Like, you could see there was just shades of real right there.
Yeah, that was definitely just like, and be honest.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. And it's been a fun year for us to watch. Like, storyline implications aside, like what it's done, to make it look like Kevin can't win without Jericho, blah, 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 blah. I have
Right.
enjoyed the hell out of them. Look, those two and Mick Foley, I
Yeah.
have loved the hell out of their segments. When Foley, when, when he did the thing where like he took off the jacket and you saw like his shirt and
Yeah.
everything with the shark cage, I love that segment. I don't care about anything that anybody screwed up. They worked through it and they worked around it and they incorporated it, and it was hysterical. And I
Yeah.
loved it. Those three together were fantastic. And so to see, you know, it's we have come to the end of the road here for Chris and Kevin, and it's sad, but we knew it was going to happen at some point.
It is sad, yeah, because that was such a good, So now we're gonna see them feud and go to WrestleMania. Then, you know, I don't know. I wonder who would win that. I wonder if they'd put. They gotta have Jericho winning it, right?
I don't think so. I think I think this is where you firmly establish Kevin Owens, and
Right.
here's what I think. We know that Triple H now has at least one new lackey. He's got Samoa Joe.
Well, that's what I was reading. Is that I saw that Triple H is creating a new stable in
They're
WWE.
yeah, they're thinking maybe he's gonna try to build like an NXT army of sorts.
I tell you, man, him, Joe, Rusev, and Charlotte like is in a stable together. That would be crazy.
Yeah, right. Or just bring Lana. Lana has decent in-ring talent. Like
Yeah.
she is genuinely underutilized. Like not great, but like she now is a hell of a lot better than either of the Bellas were when they decided they were ready to actually get in there and work. Like,
Oh yeah, that's true.
so do that.
Well, she's been practicing. She's been in a lot of NXT matches recently.
Yeah.
At some of the live events.
I'm telling you, man, like that, and that would, because that's something people would want to see, like because we've seen how good she can be, and it's not going to be pretty at first. It's not, because nobody, when they're kind of green, look at some of Nia Jax's early matches. They're not pretty. They're not,
No.
but they get better, and that's look at
Braun.
I was just about to say exactly the same thing.
Now he's a legitimate. He could have a title run. I could see it easily now.
They have built him up legitimately, and it's been fantastic, and it's because they've kept him involved, and they've said, look, here's a giant thing, and they've treated him like that. They haven't jobbed him out to and the plucky underdog gets a win. No, he just absolutely destroys everything in front of him.
Right, they try to do a little bit of that with Sami Zayn, but he just plowed through Sami Zayn. He's like, nope, no.
Yeah, and it worked for both of them because it showed Sami had that fire and that determination, and that he wasn't going to stay down, and then it showed that Strowman just didn't give a damn. Like he was just gonna eat whatever was put in front of him.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
So that's, I don't know. So they're shaping up the card for Fastlane with Reigns and Strowman. And now the interesting thing is, what's going to happen with Goldberg and Owens? Is Jericho going to cost Owens the title, or is somebody going to cost? I'm having.
That's what they're setting up. I mean, I think that's very clear that they're setting up that Jericho is not going to be there for Owens for his first big. He's going to go against. This is going to be his first time kind of alone,
right?
And he's going to lose it to Goldberg, easy.
Yeah, and part of me wants to be excited for this because it's Goldberg. And then I look at that means that Goldberg Lesnar at WrestleMania is for the Universal title.
Yep.
And I don't care that Lesnar, I think earlier today, officially announced his retirement from MMA. He's still just going to be a part-time WWE guy. Mm-hmm. And we have seen part-time champ Lesnar before. And
I'm not excited about that at all.
No, I'm not either. I don't want either of them to hold the belt. I don't. So,
I'd rather Joe have it. Here's what I would like to happen. We all know Brock's going to probably end up doing it. I would love the next Monday, Shinsuke comes out and challenges him, and suddenly you have Brock and him going at it for a few months. But, give it to Joe, give it to anyone else, or keep it with Kevin Owens.
I don't know. I just don't want this match.
That's Seth come back and get it.
Yeah, Finn. Finn would be good. I just, give me. I want to have a flashback to No Way Out from a handful of years ago, when Goldberg came out and cost Lesnar the title to Eddie Guerrero. I want it to be remembered, so that Lesnar comes out and costs Goldberg against Owens.
Right.
That's what I want. That's what I want to see. Like, oh, I didn't forget when you screwed me out of my title. That's what I want to see. And one more thing before we start the housekeeping, because I have not seen SmackDown from the other night.
Okay.
But apparently, the Royal Rumble means shit.
Yeah.
Because Randy Orton has decided he's not going to face his master Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania.
Yeah, he came out and said, as long as you're the master, I'm the serpent. Or he said servant or serpent. I'm sure he said serpent.
It could have been either way.
Yeah. I was kind of busy at the moment. But, yeah, he came out at the very end. Bray beat AJ and Cena. It was crazy. Yeah, he pinned him. So he won. And then, yeah, that's when he came out and, he bowed in the ring, got on one knee. It was like, I am your slave. It was like totally, Vader like.
Yeah. Well,
and
look.
said, I give up. I won't fight you. And so I guess it's come out that maybe it was on Talking Smack that they're doing a Rumble next week.
Yeah, they're going to have a Battle Royal next week for a new #1 contender. And look, this placates everybody. Because I think this is good. Because Wyatt could have a great match with pretty much anybody. And because there's story with pretty much anybody. We know it's not going to be Cena. He and The Miz are doing a thing. It's not going to be Corbin or Ambrose because they're going to do a thing. My money's on Styles.
Yeah, it's got to be AJ. Because, dude, I would love an AJ Styles versus Wyatt.
Mania main event. Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Yeah, totally over Shane.
Yeah. Unless there's something... Oh, God. I don't even want to get into that right now because we are out of time. Thank God.
Yeah.
Because that's a whole nother... All right. Quick housekeeping. We are on Twitter at WeGeekPodcast. Adam is at Adam Estep. I am at TheLoganWitt. Tweet us things. Give us feedback. We would love to take questions. We would love to answer questions if anybody has them. And we could do them on Twitter. We could do them on the air. Go for it. Rate us and review us on iTunes. Email us, wegeekpodcast@gmail.com. Don't forget to keep tuning in to the N.FM, where we live live adjacent every Wednesday night at 9. I think that's everything. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Sounds good to me. Captain.